Hi everyone. I think if you're watching this video, it's a fair assumption that you want to make some extra money. Good. Now you're thinking smartly. So anyone who is not a billionaire in today's world should ideally be looking for more ways and more sources of revenue, considering how many amazing things there are to buy, and more importantly, how expensive everything is from rent to food today. So I've made some videos on side hustles in the past, but today we're covering some side hustles you've never considered before. And I'll be diving in deep to explain how you can actually make money using these techniques and how much money you can earn. And this is irrespective of which country you're based out of and your skill set. I'm Ashika, and on this channel we talk about moving across the world for that dream job or to study, and also how to make some extra money on the side while you're there. Drop me a comment if you have any questions, and with that, let's dive in. So a couple of years ago, I quit what was supposed to be my 9 to 5 job, which became my 9 to pretty much any time of the night job, like even 1 a.m. because I was moving to the UK, yes, and also because I was exhausted and stressed and burned out. And at that point, yes, I was terrified because I didn't have another job lined up and I didn't know what I was going to do. And while I definitely did not regret quitting, what I definitely did regret was not having a side hustle. Because if I did, I would have probably made that decision a lot earlier. What the side hustle would have provided me with was a safety net, that is, money. And what money provides you with is the luxury of freedom. The freedom to decide where you want to work, when you want to work, and what you want to work on. So when I moved here, what I did decide was to hold on to my freedom. So I decided not to go back to a corporate job, but instead to take all of the learnings I had for years in marketing and create my own opportunities so that I could work the hours I wanted to work, take my son to the park whenever he wanted to, and spend time focusing on our family and myself. Now, like you know, I am a full-time content creator, but since I actually decided to learn from my mistakes, this time around I have multiple sources of income, basically a mix of side hustles. And today I'm going to teach you how you can do the same. The first step is to understand how to make money. My most important takeaway from all of these years I studied and worked in marketing is the one thing that you need to answer. What's in it for me, or what value can you provide to anyone else that could make them want to pay you? That's how you are going to earn money. Now, for you to deliver this value, it's not necessary that you have to have the highest skill set. The skill set needed depends on how you can plan to provide this value. And you can provide value in terms of a product, a service, or information or content. And this holds good for everyone, not just the folks looking for side hustles. Most businesses today are either products or services or content. So to give you a very rough example, when I say products, I mean Apple selling you an iPhone. When you think of services, think of your accountant who files your taxes or your barber who cuts your hair. In terms of information, think of Udemy that sells courses on Python and web development and a lot more. So the side hustles you do need to fit into one of these buckets. But you might think, that's silly, I can't build an iPhone. Well, of course not, neither can I. But here's the thing, there is so much more to products than what you traditionally think of as products, which brings me to my first side hustle idea, which is Etsy. Now, if you aren't aware, Etsy is a platform on which you can sell anything you've created, from t-shirts to mugs or jewelry or framed art. But now, in case you're thinking that you need to be creative to sell something here, you're wrong. A very popular item that sells on Etsy is Excel templates. And there's templates for everything from meal planners to website templates, and there's a huge market for it and big money to make. Take, for instance, Kelly Bryans, who made $23,000 in 3 months on Etsy selling prints. And there are so many success stories of people selling templates, planners, and more. Now, there are two ways in which you can approach this. If you're already creative, you can start creating and selling products here. But if you aren't creative, you can always take a course, spend a few months learning how to design, how to create jewelry, or learn Excel, and then build your own account. It might seem like a lot of work, but let me put it this way. There are two types of side hustles. There are those that are time intensive and those that aren't. But time isn't the only criteria you should keep in mind. You need to think of time in comparison to money. Now, obviously, the sweet spot is where you don't spend too much time doing an activity, but you still earn tons of money. But that's unlikely to happen unless you've been doing this gig for quite some time and you're really good at it. In most cases, you need to spend at least some time getting good at it if you want to make money, or at least initially. For example, if you want to make quick money, you can always take up the job of a delivery driver. You don't require too many skills or qualifications, and you will be able to join fairly quickly. And you can decide your own hours, but to be honest, it won't help you earn too much. But if you learned Excel and you spent some time doing it, it would actually take you longer to start earning, but in the end, you would earn a lot more. So, with the case of Etsy, initially the earnings may seem less and you'll spend some time learning how to sell on the platform, creating these products. But eventually, you will make tons of money if you do it right, and most of it passive income, freeing up your time to do other things while you're still earning, which is kind of the goal, isn't it? In today's video, we will be covering half of all of the side hustles because there are so many that I want to share with you. The next video that I put out will have all the rest of them. But before I move ahead, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Now, the second gig is a service gig, which is actually for designing thumbnails for YouTube. Like you might know, thumbnails are extremely important to YouTubers, which is why some other smart people out there have already realized that there's a huge need for it and that people would be willing to pay good money for it. So if you check Fiverr, you'll see listings from designers from anywhere from £4 to even £65. And it's not rocket science. You might be worried that you don't know how to design on Photoshop or that you don't want to pay for a Photoshop license because it is really expensive, I get it. But that's exactly what tools like Canva are for. Even for folks with no design experience, you can use Canva. So if you spend a couple of days analyzing the thumbnails and you see what type of thumbnails are driving views, you can actually start designing these kind of thumbnails and charging people for it. Now, you might want to list your services somewhere like Fiverr, but Fiverr has a lot of competition. So ideally, you'd want to contact YouTubers offering your services. Now, from time to time, I get emails of people offering their services, and often people I don't know. And here's the thing, there are two types of emails. One from designers who share samples of their work with prices, and to be honest, how would I even know that you created them, right? Some of them have pictures of Mr. Beast. I mean, it's really obvious you didn't create them, right? But then again, there are those who say that they can make me a customized one. What you need to understand is that you need to actually send YouTubers that you're contacting a version of the thumbnails that you have created yourself from one of their past videos. And if you're any good and if you're reasonably priced, you will get a response back. There is one thing you need to keep in mind when planning these side hustles. Now, there are some side hustles that will eventually grow so well that you might want to quit your day job just to take that on as a full-time career. Many people who started off YouTube channels as side gigs left their day jobs to do this full-time. And then there are some gigs that will always be a side gig, mainly because they don't earn as much as you'd need them to earn to be a full-time gig. Now, ideally, you want one side hustle that you're working on to grow into a full-time gig and many smaller ones that will continue to just add additional incomes. If you have too many of the first type, it's going to be very time intensive. So keep that in mind. Now, the next gig belongs to the second type, and it's actually dog sitting, and it falls under the category of services again. Assume you're in the UK on your PSW and you're looking for a job. Why not dog sit in the meantime? Most dog sitters charge anywhere from £10 to £15 per hour and £25 to £50 per day. And before you write it off as ridiculous, check out the Instagrammer Sabina from Girl vs. Glow, who lives in London, who doesn't pay anything for rent because she's a full-time dog sitter. So she moves around from house to house and she's dog sitting for them. Now, imagine that. She's not only saving money on not having to pay rent in London, which can be crazy, but also making money in the process. Now, I'm not saying tear up your rental agreement, but this is a really easy way to make money on the side without spending any extra time. And if you're not sure where to start, try Rover. Now, the challenge for taking on more work is that it's work. And more often than not, work is not enjoyable. Unless it is. What if you could get paid to do something you actually enjoy doing? And that's what the next hustle is. Being a game tester. You could get paid to test games with companies like Playtest Cloud. Now, this will probably not end up earning you big money or becoming a full-time gig, but a 15-minute playtest will earn you around $9. So it's a fun way to make money at the side while you are still able to enjoy a break or blow off some steam. All right, and that's a wrap. In the next video, we will be covering 7 more side hustles, and both for people with skills and without skills. Tell me in the comment section below which of these side hustles you plan on implementing. And if you want to see more ideas of how you can make money on the side, watch this.